I do, painting and sculpture and different things, but they're all kind of mundane compared to music. Music is like the queen of the arts. It's just pure beauty and expression. I have no background with my family, either in music or meditation. My first experience was when I was 7 years old. It just happened to me. One day I was a little kid, I was walking to school in the first grade, and suddenly I was in the gap, in the void, the big nothing. And I was not identified with my name, with who I was, with my body, with anything. It was simply, I fell into an ocean of nothingness, which was very surprising to me. I had no way to think about that or integrate it or give it a name or even talk to anybody about it. It just stayed inside me like a seed for many, many years. I began studying music soon after that, and music brought me closer and closer to that experience again in meditation, especially when I started studying Indian music around the age of 18, 19. And then I started to have experiences similar to that, of going into a space of no mind, even for a few moments. Playing the flute helps that, because the long flute tones, breathing, especially exhaling for a long period of time, changes your brain waves, gets you more into a kind of theta state of brain waves, which relaxes the mind and makes the gaps between the thoughts bigger and bigger. And that's what meditation is. At the age of 22, I, by chance, saw a book lying on a table, and I read a few words of it, and I felt in my heart that I knew the voice. And I started to read the book and found out who this person was. At that time, his name was Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. And I found out that he had a meditation center somewhere in San Francisco, or there was disciples of his that had. I went to do the meditations, did a group that weekend, and within a week I was on my way to India. And that changed my life. I knew that this is the guy I was looking for, and this is what I want to study. His name is Osho now, and I lived with him very closely, and he worked on me very, very closely, like a Zen master does, taught me very deep things about playing music for meditation, and how to live the life in a meditative way. And I lived with him until he died in 1990. I felt like it wasn't finding him, it was more like re-finding him. Like I had a connection with him from other lifetime or somewhere deep in my soul. It was a very intense experience, and beautiful, and oftentimes quite painful, in that a true master reveals things inside you which you don't always want to see about yourself, like peeling off the layers of the personality. That's what the master does, is he shows you a big mirror where you find out about yourself. The master constantly provokes you to absolutely be conscious of every action you do, every word you say, every thought you have. The nothing is hidden, nothing is unimportant. It's all part of the story, part of revealing who you are. And at the same time, he was like a deep source of unconditional love that was always present there. And that unconditional love is a very transforming force. It's like you're exposing your worst parts and someone is totally loving you at the same time. Oh, it was many times I felt I can't go through this. Many times I came to the absolute limit of what I felt my capacity was. And just at that time was when Osho would always push me more. Go beyond your limit. The limit is self-imposed. We are not those limits. We are an energy being with much more potential than we ever realize. When you go just a little bit beyond those limits, suddenly you hit a reservoir of energy that you never knew you had before. You hit spaces that are not limited by the mind, and that's a great freedom and liberation when that happens. Creativity, to me, is let go. It's letting go into something coming to you which is beyond your mind. It's that something, that part of us which we are not in control of, that brings something new. Because the mind can only do what it already knows. It never does something outside of its comfort zone. But real creativity is allowing something else to come through, something of the unknown, something of the beyond. Whereas creativity without discipline doesn't get you very far, because if I don't play the flute, if I don't have my fingers working well and my technique intact so that I can just let go and become one with the flute, that creativity won't happen on the same level. For that, it needs discipline. Discipline kind of perfects the machine, and then the machine is the speaker through which the thing speaks. Discipline is not everything at all, but without discipline, the speaker is not working very well. Use it or lose it is a good way to look at it. I think that's a totally true statement, in that what you don't use in your life, you lose the functionality of it. If you don't use your consciousness, if you don't face challenges, if you don't move into the unknown, you will become more and more rooted in your limitations and your small world. If you use your wish to discover the unknown, it's going to grow more and more, and that will open more and more to you. The more I live, the more I grow, the more happy I am. I have to say, you know, I'm in my 60s now, and I'm much happier than I was in my 20s. Everybody thinks that it's great to be young. Well, I feel much more younger now than I did when I was 20. And I'm getting more young. So I love my life. I'm happy in my life, and no complaints.